Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, and today's video is a very special one for me because this is now part 3. Could not do that right. Part 3 out of 4 of my 4-part series, and this one is really exciting for me because this is now me talking about my experience as a DACA recipient, being an undergrad student at the University of South Florida. And I'm excited to talk about what I did every single semester and my undergrad thesis. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And if you have not watched part 1 and part 2, I would recommend that you do that because part 3 is not going to make any sense if you don't watch those first. And also, if you're wondering why I'm looking this way, I'm looking at my laptop. My laptop has my my unofficial transcripts, and it tells me what I took every single semester, and that's just going to jog my memory a bit of what I did my semesters at USF Sarasota. And this is going back to fall 2016, so let's embark on this journey together. Okay, so before I get into fall of 2016, entering the University of South Florida, doing my bachelor's, I think I need to go back a little bit, back to when I was doing my associate's degree and applying to USF Sarasota. So the application process to USF Sarasota was really easy. I had no difficulty with it. But one of the things that I started to realize was, how am I going to pay for me to go to the University of South Florida when I went to State College of Florida and I was able to make it through SCF with just scholarships? So how can I get scholarships at USF? So I went to USF Sarasota and I spoke to, I want to say, 2 different people in the financial aid office at USF. And I asked them about scholarship opportunities, and they basically looked at my financial aid, and I knew I wasn't getting any financial aid because I was being rejected since I'm not a citizen. And another reason that I wasn't given financial aid is because my dad, I was putting his tax information. So my dad doesn't have a social, so that's another reason I was getting rejected with financial aid. So they were looking at my financial aid and they said, well, you know, you're technically not in the USF system with your financial aid, so we can't really give you a scholarship. And I was just like, what do you mean you can't give me a scholarship? State College of Florida has my financial aid in their system. They understand it's rejected. That's why they provide me with scholarships. And you're telling me something else. And they're like, yeah, because your financial aid isn't in our system, we can't give you any scholarships. And that was 2 people in the financial aid office at USF Sarasota who pretty much just told me that, shut the door in my face, and, you know, never really helped me out. So I was freaking out, okay? I was freaking out, and I went to somebody was very special to me. Her name is Allison Nash, and she I can't speak today. She no longer works at State College of Florida, but she used to work in the foundation scholarships, and she was the one that was really helping me and getting me these scholarships. So I went to her and I was in this panic. I told her what USF told me, and she was just like, what? Like, no, the whole point of your financial aid being rejected is so that they can provide you with scholarships. That's the whole point of scholarships, is giving it to a student who needs it. So she thought that was crazy. And she's like, let me reach out to somebody. So she reached out to these benefactors who were actually giving money to State College of Florida in scholarships. But she spoke with them over the phone, and she was like, look, I have a student who's transferring to USF, but they're not willing to give her any money. You know, would you be willing to give money to her? And they kind of said, well, what's so special about the student? And Miss Nash was like, let me tell you what's so special about Sofia. So I'm super grateful to Mrs. Nash, because if it wasn't for her, you know, I wouldn't have gotten any scholarship money to go to USF Sarasota. And thank you so much to my benefactors, who, you know, in a way they kind of tweaked the rules. SDF wasn't supposed to continue to give me money to go to USF, but they really made me the exception, and I'm so grateful for that. So because of these benefactors, I was able to continue my education. So, you know, thank you for that. Now, they did give me money to go to USF Sarasota, but they gave me money for me to go part-time. So I'm back to where I was 2 years ago at SCF, going part-time, but now part-time at USF. It's just not a lot of money, but I was trying to be grateful and saying, okay, it's fine. You know, I was here at this position before, going part-time. I'm just gonna have to go part-time again, and it's, you know, don't make it a bigger deal. Just do what you have to do, get the good grades, it'll be fine. So so now I have money that I can use to pay my tuition. And remember, tuition costs between a community college and a university are different. A university is going to be more money, and that's why the scholarship money that I got just probably could have paid off my like community college tuition, but not at the university level. So it was enough money for me to go part-time. So I took 2 classes, fall of 2016, and these were American History 2, which was, you know, a lower level course that I needed and I hadn't completed at SCF. And I took theory and methods of history with Dr. Jonathan Scott Perry, who is my favorite professor in the whole world. And I didn't know that at the time, but he really is. He's the best. And American History 2 was super easy. I had Dr. Sprout, and he was really kind and easy, but I only had him for that one course. That course was really easy. But theory and methods of history, holy crap, that was hard. I was just mind blown by that class. It was really challenging, the reading material, and wow, I just hit the ground running. I remember that. Okay, so that was a really challenging course, and I remember I had it like once every week and for 3 hours. And there was a lot of class discussion, and I actually probably spoke 3 times overall in that class for the semester. I was really quiet. I didn't like to talk. I didn't know how to express what I thought. I was listening to these other students speak, and I'm just like, I'm not on their level. I'm not this smart. But yeah, I remember I was really quiet, and Dr. Perry, like, he didn't penalize me for it, and I appreciate that now, because some professors do. If you don't speak, you know, what you thought or what you read or what you think, they're gonna penalize you for not speaking in class. And he was really kind towards me, and he didn't do that because I think he knew that I understood. Sorry, I'm tired, I'm out of breath. He understood that I was understanding the material because I was expressing that through my essays, but I wasn't speaking in class. So he was really kind about that. I met some great classmates and friends in that class, and my friend Arminda, I met her in that class, and she was pregnant with her son Lincoln, and it's crazy to think now that it's 4 years later, and Lincoln is 4, and my friend Arminda and I made it through our bachelor's together, and we also did our master's together. So you know, just being in that class and meeting her and not realizing that I was going to have this long friendship with her is so amazing to look back at it now. But yeah, so that was my first semester. I did really well. American History 2, I got an A+, and Theory and Methods of History, I got an A-. So I did really well my first semester. Spring of 2017, I took 2 courses. I took The Age of Jefferson, which was a class with another professor. Her name is Dr. Benowitz. She's now retired, and it was my first class with her. And then my other class was Roman Empire. So that was one of my favorites, the Roman Empire. Ancient history I love, but that's not what I focus in. But I love reading about ancient history. So that was one of my favorites. And Dr. Perry taught that class. The Age of Jefferson, I really love that class. That's one of the books that, The Art of Power, Thomas Jefferson by John Meacham. That's a great book. And that's where I read that book in that class. So that class, I got an A-. I did really well. I remember really enjoying that class. And the Roman Empire, I also did really well. I got an A-. And I think that's the class where I read Tacitus. And I learned about like, the first Roman emperors. I'm just like Augustus. Sorry, I forgot his name. Augustus, Tiberius, Caligula, Nero. Nero is quite the character. I wrote one particular paper on him and blaming the Christians for burning Rome. So I really enjoyed, ancient history courses, but that's not what I decided to focus on for my master's. But give me a book on ancient history and I'll read it. Okay, so then we go into summer of 2017, and I guess I only took one class during summer because my scholarship, I don't think they paid for the summer, so I think I had to pay this one out of pocket. But I think I realized, okay, if I don't take a class over the summer, I'm gonna lose that momentum of school. And I'm also taking 2 classes every single semester, so I'm gonna be behind by graduating, and if I don't take something in the summer. So in the summer, I took Ancient Roman Film, which was one of my favorite classes that Dr. Perry taught. And I got an A-. I'm fine with that A-, but it was one of my favorite classes that I genuinely enjoyed. It was not just him showing films, but the reading material that we did that was connected with the films was amazing. And it was like in person. And I know that he later on taught that class online, but no, to have that class in person was amazing. And he's an amazing professor. I can't say, I can only say so many great things about him. So that was summer. I did really well. And then going into fall of 2017, I'm looking at fall of 2017 and it looks a little weird to me. One sec. Okay, so fall of 2017, I think they gave me more money. It's kind of weird because I'm taking 3 classes, not 4. But 3 classes is not considered full-time. 4 classes as an undergrad is considered full-time. So I'm like, they might have given me more money. I don't remember this. But yeah, fall of 2017, I was taking 3 classes. I was taking Modern Florida with Dr. Benowitz, American Women 2, also with Dr. Benowitz, and Schools and Society. This was one of those required courses that the college makes you take. It's not in history, but it's one of those courses that you have to fulfill in order to graduate. So I think Schools and Society was an online class. It was really easy and I got an A+. American Women 2, also great course, A-. And Modern Florida was also one of my favorite classes, an A- as well. And I'm thinking, okay, so this was actually the time. Let's step out of school, let's think about what was going on in 2017. Let's think about the administration that we were in. We were in the Trump administration. And September 5th of 2017, this was when Jeff Sessions announced the ending of the DACA program, okay? Now, I'm thinking back to some of my thoughts when that happened, and I remember how angry I was, how I was thinking these guys are idiots for ending this program, and also thinking I'm screwed if this ends. How am I going to renew? How am I going to finish school? and I remember looking at my DACA and the expiration date and thinking, okay, I'll finish my bachelor's degree on time, but after that I can't continue with my education, and I don't know how I'm gonna find a job if I don't renew DACA. So I was thinking about that, and I remember I got a letter in the mail from USF saying that I was doing so well in school. As you can tell, I was getting a lot of A's, and they said that I should join the honors program. And by joining the honors program, I would be writing an undergrad thesis. So I thought, okay, this was actually cool, okay? And I remember Dr. Perry talking about this honors program in his theories and methods of history. But it was my first semester and I was taking 2 classes. I was like, I don't want to get into an honors program. But I got this letter in the mail and the opportunity presented itself. So I said, okay, let me think about this. And I said, if I write a thesis, what can I write my thesis on? So I remember I went to Dr. Perry, I went to his office and I said, hey, I got the letter in the mail to join the honors program. And I said, I have an idea about a thesis that I want to write. But does it have to be about history? And I said, I really want to write a thesis about DACA recipients. And he was like, this is such a great idea. He was just like, yes, I think this is great. He's like, no, your undergrad thesis does not have to be in history at all. As long as you're in the program and you write an incredible thesis, you'll be fine. So I applied for the honors program. And I had to be interviewed by, I guess, the director of the honors program, which was Dr. Sloan. And Dr. Sloan called me in for an interview in her office and, asked me why I wanted to be in the honors program and if I had an idea of the thesis that I would write. And I said, yes, it would be on immigration. It would be on DACA recipients. And she said, wow, that's actually a really good idea. She's like, we only had one other student write about immigration. And she pulled out their thesis. It was like a physical copy, and she thought it was great. So, I had applied for that honors program, and I think towards the end of fall semester, I found out that I got in the honors program, which was great because that leads to spring of 2018. Now, I'm taking 4 classes, so now I am a full-time student. What am I saying? Student. And in order for me to be a full-time student, I had to get more money. So I remember, I think I spoke in fall semester with my benefactors. And I was doing so well in school. I told them, I said, is there any way that you guys could give me more money so I could be a full-time student? And I approached it in a very calm, without pushing, can you please give me more money type of way. And they said absolutely, yeah, because I was doing so well in school, and they were just like, yeah, kid, we just want you to finish school. You're doing great. We just want you to get your degree. So they gave me more money, and spring of 2018, I was able to go full-time. So the class that I took was United States from 1877 to 1914, taught by Dr. Benowitz. Then Classical Greece, taught by Dr. Perry. You're gonna be shocked at this one. Hitler and the Nazis, taught by Dr. Perry. And then I was in the honors seminar class, which was Major Works and Issues. And this was, now, that class was focused for my thesis. But it was a physical class on learning how to do research, okay? So the United States class with Dr. Benowitz, it was an A-. The Classical Greece, an A. Hitler and the Nazis, an A. And honor seminar was an A. So I kind of want to explain a little bit what I did in the honor seminar class. We were basically learning techniques on how to do research. And everybody in that class had completely different ideas of their research methods, or what they wanted to do research in. So it was kind of hard for the professor to really have an idea of how he could teach the class in order for us to really benefit from it and learn from it of how we could do our research. But one of the great things that Dr. Pieri, that's his name, did was he brought different instructors in the class that he thought would be best suited for every single student, or not every single student, but like some students, like maybe this professor would be suited for 2 or 3 students in the class. And that particular professor would become that student's advisor for their undergrad thesis. So I remember one of the first people that came in was Dr. Perry. And Dr. Perry was best suited for these 2 other students in the class. And I had thought about having Dr. Perry as my advisor. The problem was my topic was not in history. So, you know, it was good that I had him in mind, and I think I had Dr. Perry and I had Dr. Benowitz in mind. And I also thought about Dr. Pieri, who was the instructor of the class, as my advisor. But then one great professor showed up to class, and I had never met her before until I started listening to her research. My face is lighting up because I love this professor so much. So Dr. Jody Lynn McBrien came into class one day, and she started talking about her research on migration and refugees. And when I was watching her present and this PowerPoint that she had of her research, my face lit up. And I remember I kind of turned around and I looked at Dr. Pieri, and Pieri looked at me and he's like, go talk to her, you know, like say something to her. And I was just like in awe by Dr. McBrien. And I remember I did ask her a couple questions, and she was really, really kind. And then I reached out to Dr. McBrien separately on an email. I can't remember exactly what I wrote her in the email, but later on I did ask her if she would be my potential advisor for my undergrad thesis. I told her exactly what I wanted to research on DACA recipients. I don't want to go into detail about my undergrad thesis because I have a video on it, and I rather let that video speak for itself. I need some water, sorry. I want that video to speak for itself, and I don't want to get so into that research, but it was on DACA recipients and their identities. And Dr. McBrien was all on board for this. So, so entering summer of 2018, Dr. McBrien is now my advisor for my undergrad thesis. And we're entering summer. Summer, I was getting money from my scholarship benefactors. So they were paying that, and I was taking 2 classes in the summer. I was taking Sports and Society in Ancient History, taught by Dr. Perry. And his class was taught online, which Dr. Perry had never taught a full online course, but he did great. He learned how to use the technology and the cameras and record himself, and he loved it. I loved it too, but his lectures were super long, but they were great, and I got an A in the class. And then I was doing my honors project. I was working on my undergrad thesis, so that actually counted for credits. And that's when I was doing, I think I was doing so much. I was doing research, but I was also doing research in the spring. Yeah, I was also doing research in the spring of 2018. And I think in the summer, I was doing research, but I was now starting to really type out my thesis. And I think in the summer is when I was interviewing people. And then I think in the fall, I had to, was it the fall? Yeah, it was the fall. The fall semester was when I was transcribing all those interviews and really putting that thesis together. But yeah, that was summer, and then we're entering fall of 2018. And as I'm entering fall of 2018, I'm going to take a sip of water because I'm just out of breath right now. So fall of 2018, I'm a full-time student again, and I'm taking 4 classes. I'm taking Roman Republic. The last one was the Roman Empire. This is Roman Republic. The Republic was before the Empire. Just saying, if you don't know that. Then it was Research and Methods in History. That class was taught by Dr. Cassandra Iacovazzi, which Dr. Benowitz had retired in the spring of 2018. We threw her a big goodbye party, and Dr. Yakovazzi came in because she and Dr. Perry were the only history professors at USF Sarasota. So I took that class with her. That was like a mandatory class that I had to take. Then I was doing honor thesis credits, and that's when I was transcribing my my interviews and putting my thesis together. And I was taking ethics and power and leadership, which was a require class that you have to take in order to get your degree. So Roman Republic was an A+, research and methods in history an A, honors thesis an A, and ethics and power and leadership was an A. So doing really good with these A's. I'm just killing it compared to my associate's degree, where there was like a couple B's and a few C's in there. So A's. I'm doing really good. I'm really enjoying my time. Really. There's like a really weird noise outside, and then Hugo's now barking. I don't know what's going on. Oh, it stopped. But Hugo's not stopping. Well, I don't have to deal with this anymore because I'm moving out and Hugo's not coming with me. Yeah. Then entering spring of 2019, I didn't have to go full time. I already had the credits that I needed. I just needed to take 2 classes. So I think, yeah, so I took Pro Seminar, which is a required class for history majors that you have to take. And that class, Dr. Perry taught it. Usually Dr. Benowitz would teach that class, but she retired, so Dr. Perry took over it. And I think we were learning about like early Christianity. And then I took a directed reading course, which is like an independent study course. And I did that with Dr. Yakovazzi. And Dr. Yakovazzi and I one day kind of sat down and we picked out, I don't know if it was 6 books or 12 books, but it dealt with like immigration history. So I think it was 6 books, if I'm not mistaken. I had to read 6 books, and she and I would meet, I think, about every 2 weeks to discuss those books. And we would meet at a coffee shop downtown Sarasota on Main Street, and I would bring the book and I would just be ready to discuss the books with her. And I think that was an excellent, technique and course that I did with Dr. Yakovazzi, because that really got me into talking about what I was reading, got me out of that shell, and that got me into what a master's was going to be. Because for a history major, a master's, you're not doing class lectures anymore. You are now discussing books with your classmates and your professors in class for 3 hours. So I don't think Dr. Yakovazzi and I were there for 3 hours. I think we were there for about an hour at the coffee shop, just discussing the book with each other. And also discussing how those immigration books could apply to my thesis, because I think I was also adding some of those books into my thesis. Now that I remember, yes, I wasn't quite finished with my thesis yet. I wasn't having like credit hours, but I was still like cleaning it up. And this was also the semester where, how can I explain it? This was a semester where I had to present my undergrad thesis at a symposium. So about 12 students in my history program were graduating, and one person was going to win this award, and it was the outstanding student in history. And guess who got that award? I got the award. It was a big shock for me. I didn't know about this award. I had no idea about it, and I was just ecstatic and honored and grateful that I was picked as the outstanding student in history. And not just that I got it like in this, but at USF Sarasota, there's actually a plaque in my name. It says like the outstanding students, and it lists all the students, and my name is there, and it says 2019. So this holds a very special place in my heart that I can't believe it, that I would be the outstanding student in history. So I'm completely touched and honored by that one. And I think those were the awards that I won. And then I graduated in spring of 2019, and graduation was great. I'm so happy I got to walk, not like during a pandemic, but like before this pandemic happened. I got to walk and experience that with my friend Arminda. Oh, actually, I have my cap and gown. Right, I have my gown. So this is my what's it called, my undergrad gown from USF Sarasota with the logo on it. Thought it was a really great gown. Oh, and I have a story behind the gown, but I'll get back to the story when I show you the rest. And then I have the sash, which is the honors program sash, because I completed the program and wrote a thesis. And then I have the cap, which is decorated on top. One of my classmates, his at the time his fiance, who is now his wife, went to Ringling Museum of Art School, and I paid her to decorate my cap, and we decorated Tangled theme. So it says, "On to my new dream, graduate school," because my dream was always to go to school and to get my degree, but I never thought that I would go to graduate school. So this was actually my new dream, like Entangled. You know the song. I'm not gonna sing the song for you, but yeah, and I love how it came out. I want to see if I can make it closer. Yeah, I think she did a great job with it. So that was my cap. Oh, the story about my gown. Okay, so as you probably know, a gown and a cap costs money, right? And so did the sash. The sash was not free. So like my master's gown, cap and gown, was about $100. So this was about $50. The sash, probably $20, okay? And I remember I met this older gentleman who was auditing one of the courses in Dr. Perry's class. I can't remember what class, but it was of spring of 2019. No, spring? No. Was it spring? It couldn't have been spring. He wasn't auditing, yeah, there's no way. He wasn't auditing Pro Seminar. I think he was auditing the Roman Republic class, if I'm not mistaken. His name was Mitch, and I think one day I went down to admissions. I just needed to make sure that I was signed up properly for my classes for the spring of 2019, and Mitch was there. And we said hello, everything, and he was asking me what classes he should audit for spring of 2019. And I kind of like told him, oh, this is a great class. I can't remember the courses, but I remember I was telling him that. And he was asking a little bit about me and what classes I was taking. And I was telling him, oh, I'm taking this, and I'm also doing my undergrad thesis. And he wanted to know about it. So I told him about, it being on DACA recipients and their identities, and he thought it was super fascinating. And I explained to him a little bit about my background and how that idea came of. And I think he was just so blown away by it. So it was in fall of 2018, because I remember this. It was my birthday, November 8th. I went to class, and Dr. Perry handed me an envelope, and he said to me, like, open it after class or something like that. I said, okay. So I opened it after class, right? And I was like, oh, I wonder what this is. Like, there's no way Dr. Perry knows my birthday. I open it, and it was like this very kind letter. I have that letter in a box at my parents' house now. But it actually had, I think, about $100 for the USF bookstore. And I was like, I know Dr. Perry didn't give me this. I was like, it was Mitch. So I told Dr. Perry, I was like, I know it was Mitch. Like, just say yes, it was Mitch. And he was like, okay, I wasn't supposed to tell you it was Mitch, but you guessed it. So so with that gift card, I was able to go to the bookstore and I was able to purchase my cap and gown. And I wrote Mitch a thank you card. And I said, I want to thank you. Like, Dr. Perry didn't tell me it was you, but I know it was you. And, you know, I was actually, with your help, I was actually able to purchase my cap and gown and my sash, my honor sash, for graduation. And he was just like taken back. Like, I think he thought I was going to use it for books. But I was like, you know, I want to thank you for helping me buy my cap and gown. And I thought that was the sweetest thing. The complete stranger just got to know me one day at school, and then he was just like, here's money on my birthday too. So yeah, I think that's it for this video. Got a little bit of scholarship money, and then more money came because of my benefactors. I'm super grateful to them, because if it wasn't for them, I would have not gotten a bachelor's. You saw I was doing really well in school. I was really enjoying my classes. I really enjoyed my research. You know, I don't want to get super into my research because I want that video when I'm presenting it to speak for itself, and I'll post that later on. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed part 3. I feel like I have just been talking for hours. But part 3 was a little bit longer. Part 4 is going to be my master's, and part 4 is going to be interesting because it's only 2 years that I was doing a master's, and it's when the pandemic hit and all hell broke loose. Yeah, so I can't wait to share part 4 with you. And yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. And like I said, make sure to subscribe. Can't speak today. Make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. If you know anybody that would benefit from just viewing this, tell your friends. And yeah, I'll see you in part 4, or I might put another video before part 4.